I also want to thank the advocates and the activists whose work has truly made this all come to fruition. That includes James Kellerman for Call for Help, Inc., Carolyn Compton, the director of the Cougar Cupboard here at SIUE's campus, Sherry Hare with the Soup and Share outreach program, Alicia Alexander of I Support the Girls, Edwardsville, Ashley Novoa of the Chicago Period Project, and so many others who couldn't be here today to join us. Person to person is how this work gets done, and person by person, your work has changed the lives of many women and girls across Illinois. The pandemic has laid bare many of the quiet sacrifices that women are disproportionately forced to make in the face of financial instability. Keep a job or stay home to care for children. Pay the rent or buy groceries. Pay a medical bill or keep the lights on. Given the high price of menstrual products such as pads and tampons, it's no wonder that many women below the poverty line have had to sacrifice their personal health and hygiene in order to afford food or other basic necessities, turning to socks and toilet paper to manage their menstrual cycle. It's a tragic situation that significantly increases their risk of infection and limits their ability to live their fullest lives. Thanks to the 3 bills that I get to sign today, we're reducing the burden of period poverty and making those very difficult personal choices a little bit rarer in Illinois. This is a meaningful advancement in women's health, and that's something that we should all celebrate. Starting at the end of the year, the Feminine Hygiene Products for the Homeless Act will ensure that period products like pads, tampons, and liners will be available free of charge at all shelters for youth and women. We're also expanding that requirement to all public universities and community colleges across the state of Illinois. Access to these necessities, which fit right alongside hand soap and toilet paper as critical hygiene care, can make or break how a student is able to go about her day. That's not something we should let stand in the way of a young person's education, and effectively, immediately, we won't. Finally, we're working to tackle a major hurdle to purchasing hygiene products for low-income women across the state. Right now, Illinoisans who receive SNAP or WIC benefits can use their funds to buy essential nutrition, but not hygiene essentials like tampons, pads, or diapers for their kids. That doesn't make any sense to me, nor to a bipartisan coalition of leaders in the General Assembly, so we're formally asking the federal government to take this step forward and help countless women afford the products that they need. Once again, Illinois is demonstrating what it means to stand up for women's health by protecting the dignity of our state's most vulnerable people.
I'm so happy to see House Bill 641 finally come to fruition. This is the bill that will put feminine or menstrual hygiene products in all of the restrooms on campus at all of our institutions of higher education free of charge. I really need to, I've been working on this for a number of years, and I really want to thank the higher education community as a whole, the community colleges and our four-year institutions for their support this past year and for finally really understanding the scope of what this legislation will do. Yes, it puts pads and tampons in restrooms, but it really does so much more. This legislation is important because it really recognizes a simple fact of biology. About half our population experiences menstruation throughout a significant portion of their lifetimes. It's a normal function of our biology and should be treated and seen as such and respected. The idea that those of us who experience it should hide it or feel shame about it or protect those of you who don't have the pleasure of experiencing it from having to even think about it, that way of thinking is very outdated and very dangerous. We all agree collectively that soap, toilet paper, napkins, tissues, seat covers, and all those other things are provided for us in public spaces. In fact, we probably don't really ever think about it until we're in a situation where we really need something like that and it's just not there. This legislation puts menstrual hygiene products in that same category, which is exactly where they belong. Thank you again, Governor Pritzker, for supporting this important legislation, and it is my honor to introduce my friend and colleague, Representative LaToya Greenwood.